Great of the week. Mortimer, to the rescue. A CN Stories audiobook. Have you ever seen someone or something and thought, wow, they are so brave? Perhaps the lion. Lions are very funny. That's what everyone says. But then, they are lions. And what does a lion have to be scared of? What about a little green and yellow budgie? A budgie brave? Could a budgie be brave? What about a budgie by the name of Mortimer? Mortimer lived, like most pet birds do, in a bird cage in his own home. However, unlike most budgies, Mortimer's owner wore a purple cape and carried a sword made of plastic pipe everywhere she went. Her name was Kelsey, and she liked to put Mortimer on her head and pretend he was Falcon, because Kelsey and Mortimer never did anything boring. Everything was an epic adventure. Do you know what a falcon is? It's a bird best defined by the fact that it's not a budgie. In fact, it's almost the opposite of a budgie. Falcons are fearless. They swoop and soar through the air, catching food in their claws. But budgies just squeak, and instead of, well, anything. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'm about to tell you about how a squeaky green and yellow budgie called Mortimer, who should be scared of everything, was in fact incredibly brave. Well, I have news for you. You are absolutely correct. It's time for another epic adventure in the creek. Have you ever been to a creek? If you have, I'm sure you know they are much bigger than a puddle, but smaller than a river. Kelsey loved the creek, and she explored all the time with her friends Craig, who was very smart and liked to carry a staff like a wizard, and Jakey, who was very nice, and he wore a very big jumper. Today, Kelsey decided that she and Mortimer wouldn't walk to the creek. Oh no, walking was boring, and they never did anything boring. So they would fly there instead. And with that, she popped her budgie on her head, dashed out the front door, and took off. Of course, they couldn't actually fly. They mustn't tell Kelsey this. After all, Kelsey was not a falcon. She was a little girl with a tiny nervous bird on her head. So in reality, they were running down the path, making flying noises, when suddenly a ferocious, slavering monster appeared. Okay, not really that ferocious, and not technically a monster. It was just a puppy being taken for a walk. But Mortimer was so frightened, he started shivering in Kelsey's hair. Acting fast, his heroic owner held out her pike sword and loudly banished the fearsome beast to the darkest depths. Do you know the word banish? It's a thing wizards and sorcerers and old kings and queens say when they mean make go away. You might know somebody who banish. But don't worry, Kelsey didn't really banish the puppy. He only called, and the puppy scurried away from the confusing girl with the cape and the sword and the scared budgie in her hair. What did you do? The curious little girl with the huge sword tried to banish you. I think I just scampered away too. At the creek, Craig and Jakey were trying to blow up an inflatable raft. It was taking forever. Craig asked Jakey why he chose not to use the pump, which would make the job super easy. Jakey shrugged, on his big jumper. He thought the pump was something you pushed down to make dynamite explode. Craig wondered why Jakey thought that sort of thing would be with the rest of the rafting equipment, but decided not to ask. Just then, Kelsey dramatically cartwheeled in, ready for adventure. Craig opened his map. Today, they were going to explore Oggy Abyss, a dank, dark part of the creek, with so much green slime in it that it looked like a field of grass. If that field of grass belonged to a troll or swamp goblin, you probably already know what algae is, but just in case you don't, algae is a bit like moss, except that it's in water. And if you don't know what moss is, well, you know algae is like that, but on land. Either way, it looks like slime because it's basically just slime, and you definitely know what slime is. Oh, and the word abyss? That just means a big, long, dark hole. So in short, they were going to go explore a big, long, dark hole covered in slime. What could possibly go wrong? A little while later, 3 daring kids and one small, less-known bird were out on their inflated raft floating right in the middle of Oggy Abyss. As JP paddled through the grimy water with his baseball bat, Craig fizzed with excitement. He told his friends that they could make a hole in the floating green gunk on the surface of the water, and they'd be the first kids to ever see what lay underneath, or get eaten by a swamp goblin. There was only one way to find out. JP plunged his bat into the water, wiggled it out of it, and then let it sink deeper and deeper and deeper. Would they discover what lurked in the murky depths of the pool? Would they get eaten, or would they get stuck? The slime was so thick that JP's baseball bat was stuck. That wasn't supposed to happen. JP pulled, made a weird, high-pitched, straining sound, and pulled some more, until finally the bat popped out with a wet slurp and went flying right into the middle of the dank, dark, slimy creek. Baseball bats don't usually fly, and this bat was no exception. But you already knew that, didn't you? And presumably, you also know what the most important part of flying is. That's right, landing. Which a baseball bat did, smack wallop in the middle of the slime, where it sank, seemingly slurped down into the depths. Perhaps the swamp goblins intended to start a baseball team, but probably not. Swamp goblins were their enemies. There was no need to panic, which Craig quickly decided to evidence by running up and down the raft in a massive panic. How did they get out of all this slime if they didn't have a paddle? But then a bat wasn't a paddle, and JP pointed out that by that logic, they had plenty of paddles. Craig had his wizard staff, and Kelsey had her awesome plastic sword. Craig and Kelsey were not happy about this suggestion whatsoever. They wouldn't. These were precious things. They were magic items. These were their cool, iconic accessories. They weren't going to drop them in a pile of sludge, even if they were stuck in the dark, dank, slimy creek, with no way of getting out, ever. JP shrugged again. He had an iconic accessory too, his big jumper, with long, tangy, oversized sleeves. And he didn't mind getting dirty. Perhaps they'd try swimming. Sure, the water was dark and scary, and the green stuff looked like monster snot. But JP said he'd swim worse. He dipped his sleeve in the water, to show the others just how perfectly fine it was. How fine do you think it was? Perfectly, totally, delightfully fine? Or terribly, horribly, disgustingly not fine? That's right, it was not fine. The algae slowly grabbed his tangy, oversized sleeve, and then began creeping up his arm. JP really liked his big jumper, and his arm, so you can imagine how happy he was about this current turn of events. That's right, not very happy at all. It was officially time to panic, but having already panicked, Craig decided to up his game by having a total freak out. They were stranded, and JP was almost certainly turning into a swamp goblin. Did I mention they were stranded? Well, they were, but it was fine. Why? Because Kelsey had an idea. One member of their team didn't need to paddle or swim through the slime because he could fly, really fly. Better than a baseball bat, possibly even better than Kelsey herself. She plucked Mortimer from her head and instructed him to find help. But before he looked at it, Kelsey encouraged him by saying he was the bravest bird she'd ever known. He was also the only bird she'd ever known, but that didn't matter. She believed in him. And so Mortimer, the little budgie, who was scared of everything, soared into the sky like a falcon. He was on a mission. The kids watched the skies until he faded into the distance. Sure, maybe he's up for a while, but everything was going to be okay. At which point, JP asked what part of the raft he'd using the bathroom, which was definitely not okay. Mortimer flew as fast as anybody pretending to be a falcon possibly could. Kelsey had told him to get help, but no. The first place he found was a raisin tree, where every creek kid bought sweets and supplies from Kit, a particularly clever who ran the place. Of course, Kit would know what to do. Mortimer landed on the old wooden bench that Kit used as a shop counter. He'd jerked up from next to a fishbowl full of fizzy green pop. Oh, I didn't mean to ask, do you sleep, budgie? No? What about that? Most people had including Kit, who just thought Mortimer wanted to buy candy. Jill had 3 bitter babies, which were sour candies shaped like kids. This gave Mortimer a sweet idea. He picked up the bitter babies in his beak and dropped them into the fishbowl. The candy kids were now stranded in a fizzy green drink. It was obvious, was it? Surely Kit would see this meant Kelsey, JP, and Craig were stuck in the creek. But no, what Kit actually saw was a bird splashing about in the fizzy drink and throwing sweets around. And with the drink with her precious sock, she shooed Mortimer away. That had not gone half as well as expected. Not even a quarter as well. Mortimer needed to get help with someone else. But who? Back at the abyss, 2 things hadn't happened. 1, JP hadn't turned into a swamp goblin, and 2, the weather had not remained the same. Instead, a gentle breeze had picked up. This time, rather than having panic, Craig had an idea. What if they took his staff and JP's slightly soggy jumper and made a sail? It was brilliant. Even Craig did say so himself. JP slipped his jumper, Craig draped over his wizard staff and planted it at the end of the raft. The wind caught the jumper. The raft was moving. The kids were saved. But then the gentle breeze turned less gentle and stole the jumper. The raft stopped moving, and the kids watched as their sail landed a few meters away in the deep, dark, green slime with a thick, wet plop. JP wailed he'd lost his iconic accessory, and now he might have to get one that fit him. Boring. Meanwhile, Up in the woods, Mortimer found 3 junior forest scouts. You know, those kids who had badges to show they can do stuff without messing up. They were standing next to a bush full of berries, consulting their junior forest scout guidebook to see if berries were okay to eat. Their junior forest scout leader, Jason, read for a moment before confirming that the berries were okay to eat. So his big junior forest scout friend Boris ate some. Then Jason realized that his contribution had been rather hasty. Boris, however, Jason was still a way away from getting his safe berry eating badge. Mortimer looked worried. Perhaps these weren't the safest he was looking for. But they were scouts. Junior forest scouts. They had special badges. Surely at least one of those badges would be for scouting. Otherwise they would just be called the junior badge collectors. And Mortimer wanted to join the junior badge collectors, not even Boris. If anyone could help Kelsey, Craig, and JP, surely it had to be the junior forest scouts. Before Mortimer could decide what to do, he was spotted. Jason did have his bird spotting badge and instantly recognized the green feathers as belonging to Kelsey's budgie, Mortimer. He tapped his finger on his chin and wondered why Mortimer would be out here alone. There was only one explanation. Kelsey, Craig, and JP were in trouble. Mortimer looked overjoyed. But then the third scout, Tony, whined that he was hungry and didn't think they should be wasting time listening to birds. Mortimer swooped down and got the merit badge off Tony's junior forest scout sash. Tony was furious. What was his wildlife conservation badge? Mortimer flew away with bag and beak, and the junior forest scouts gave chase. This was perfect. Mortimer could lead the junior forest scouts all the way to Kelsey and her friends in Aldi Abyss. It was a fantastic plan. For it would have been had the junior forest scouts not unexpectedly fallen in a hole. A much smaller hole than this, mind you, but large enough to keep 3 junior forest scouts strapped for some time. What would Mortimer do now? Back on the raft, JP was a little worried that Craig had totally lost it because, well, to be completely honest with you, Craig had totally lost it. Okay, I wouldn't usually do this, but here, just for you, is a special limited edition insight into the mind of Craig Williams. Okay, don't panic. Don't panic. We can't paddle out of the slide. Don't panic. Don't panic. We can't sail out of the slide. Don't panic. Don't panic. It will be getting dark soon. I'm panicking. Don't wait. We're only a hole in the back of the raft. It will surely blast us all to safety, like a speedboat. Okay, panic over. And that is what was going on in the mind of Craig Williams. How you let the air out of the balloon and watch it fly around the room going, shh. Craig had, I thought, the same word here. So, he took one of his perfectly sharpened pencils, and before Kelsey or JP could stop him, jabbed a hole in the side of the raft. Now, what do you think happened? Did it fly out of the balloon going, or did it just start rapidly singing? Well, I'll give you a very big clue. It just started singing rapidly. It was too late. They were doomed. Gross, green, slurpy, doomed, which is one of the top 9 types of doom. Unless Mortimer had found someone else in the woods, and he had, someone named Wildernessa, a fierce, wild, woodland warrior. If anyone could help his friends, it was Wildernessa. Mortimer swooped down from amongst the trees to try and gain her attention, but at that very moment, a ferocious, slavering monster appeared. But this time, it wasn't a puppy. The roaring monster guided the path. There was no way for Mortimer to reach Wildernessa now. Unless it wasn't really a monster, which it wasn't, but it wasn't a puppy either, and it was slavering. Oh, by the way, slavering is when you dribble, as the writing on the dribble. Please join the Sabbath when possible. It was Wildernessa's faithful dog, G6, but don't be swayed by his cute name. G6 was a huge dog. A huge dog, now barking loudly in the direction of a small party. Mortimer's green and yellow feathers flooded with fear. His very instinct insisted that he flew away. But then the voice of Kelsey echoed all around him. Kelsey believed in him. To her, he was a fearless warrior, just like her. He could do this. And so Mortimer summoned all his budgie courage, flew past G6, and landed on Wilderness's broad shoulder. He squeaked and chirped and chirped and squeaked, and finally, someone understood. It turns out Wilderness has budgie very well, and didn't need a badge to prove it. Back aboard the considerably deflated raft, Kelsey, JP, and Craig clung together. Now very much all agreed that panic was appropriate. When Mortimer appeared in the sky above them, the 3 singing Creek kids gawped in amazement as Wildernessa bounded up to the shore, riding her giant dog, G6. At Wilderness' command, a mighty seed roared across the creek, sending the raft atop a great wave of slime before crashing to the shore. The Creek kids were shaken and a little slimy, but they were safe. Kelsey hugged Mortimer, even though he was very little, and even though he'd been very scared. Brave Mortimer, the budgie, had saved the day. Mortimer nestled into his favourite spot in Kelsey's hair. Being brave had felt great, but he was ready for a well-earned rest. That evening, when he was safely back home, Mortimer looked himself in the little mirror which hung inside his cage. He saw himself a little differently now. Maybe he really was a Vulcan, after all. Oh, and the junior rangers are still very much stuck in the hole, but they'll be okay. Jason had very left. So it turned out, a little budgie, Mortimer, certainly could be brave, because the real meaning of bravery is being scared of doing something